Hey there, hi there, ho there. Hello there, and welcome back to another exciting edition of the Cardinal Couple Radio Hour podcast, where we discuss the joy and excitement of U of L women's athletics. Certainly some exciting fall events that have gone on this year for our Cardinals, and we'll get to those in just a bit. As we like to do at the start of the show, we like to introduce the people who are on the broadcast today, and today we're down to just, well, actually three if you count Daryl's cat, but she doesn't normally say much, but she is listening intently. And Daryl's even got a little bitty set of headphones and a microphone for her in case she wants to talk, but she's never joined us yet. So we'll see. But Daryl, the owner of Lulu, big Cardinal fan. And Daryl, what's been going on with you this week?
Just chasing people down at U of L, trying to get them to work at the university has been my main focus, and just getting back into the swing of things with U of L athletics. I've been out, the last few weeks with the festivals, so I've had my music hat on. So getting back into the sports hat, and gosh, we have so much to talk about. It's crazy how like a month ago we were like, what are we gonna talk about? And then now we have so many games, and here we are. It's a full swing because we've got, our winter sports are kind of lurking over our shoulder, looking at us because we're getting basketball schedules and um, checking out or getting the ACC, SEC game times. Just makes it seem more real and closer than ever.
It does indeed. And I like the term lurking.
Yeah, I mean, my gosh, it's going to be here in no time.
It certainly is. I'm uh, looking forward, I guess, to if when they announce it, the U of L women's basketball tip-off luncheon. I hope I'll be able to go this year. We'll kind of see how it's going with me. But it's been an event that I haven't missed in, I don't know if I've ever missed it. And I've seen it like in four different locations. So we'll wait and see the announcement on that and where it's going to be. Normally Galt House, but Daryl will see what they're going to do with that and whether I'm going to be able to go or not. And if I'm able to go, then certainly we'll look forward to being introduced to this year's team. But hey, we got fall sports to talk about. Let's go ahead and move on in and talk about those a little bit. And I think one of the areas that we can start out on would be an event that happened for us Thursday night. And that, of course, was the Cardinals playing women's soccer as they brought in Miami to face the Kicking Cards. And the Kicking Cards beat them. They, or as it says in the article, the Kicking Cards boot Miami. I like that. And Daryl, you had the write up on that. A match that we once again our defense held solid, didn't they?
Yeah, it's crazy to me how I think somebody pointed out that after the Thursday night match, there's only two home soccer games left. I That's crazy to me. How it just started, and the women's soccer season always just flies by and just gets every other sport started. So when they had Miami come to town, ACC match, you never know which way they're gonna go, and the Cards are still holding strong. Defense didn't give up a goal, and the way that the Cards were able to score was just poetic. It was some of the best goals I've seen in quite some time, and to have them both in the same match just goes to show like the way that this team is coming together. They've got uh, like 12 matches under their belt, and Thursday night against Miami was just really, really good showing for them.
And I think certainly a win that I thought this one was pretty much a toss up, to be honest with you. Even though we went into it 9-2,
Mm-hmm.
and certainly I think that when Louisville came out on the field, you could see that they were fired up. But this Miami team didn't want to go away easily, even though the Cards did score in basically the first. It was about the 16-minute mark. I think they scored when
Yeah.
Grace Nighthawks got a pass to Emerson Jennings,
Mm-hmm.
and Emerson Jennings sent one into the net. Very nice setup from give the as it turned out the only goal the Cards needed, but we didn't know that at the time. It was Jennings' fifth goal of the season,
And it
and
was
certainly
beautiful. Like I don't know which one was better, the goal or the pass, because the goal was you had to hit that at the perfect amount of pressure to be able to get it in the net, or else that thing was ending up on Floyd Street. Um, so the pass back,
that's true.
the boot from the top of the box over the goalkeep, just wow, chef's kiss.
And so they gave the Cards a 1-0 lead, and then Louisville was able to add a second goal in that one before the halftime break. This time Kylie Pete, one of the Pete sisters, and do they call them Pete and repeat? I don't know. I'm not positive on that, but Kylie Pete got a shot through the Miami keeper's legs, so to speak.
Oh my gosh,
Uh,
was that one even better?
and
Wow.
if you hadn't seen it, you wouldn't believe it, but she did.
I had to question myself. I was like,
I think it was. I like that one a little bit more.
oh
Yeah,
my gosh. I mean, first of all, yeah, it was a rebound. So the fact that the goalkeeper wasn't able to corral the first shot attempt, which was also a great, strong kick. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head, but she wasn't able to corral it. She was on the ground. It bounced right off her chest. And look who's right there, ready to sail it in. And then she had the smallest window to get that ball through her legs. And like, if the girl didn't put up her right leg into that 90-degree angle, it would have been blocked. But she did. And it went straight through. Just so beautiful. I screamed. I couldn't believe it.
yeah, we were pretty excited here on the. We were not out there. We were watching it via, of course, a laptop here in the living
Mhm.
room, and I just like I don't believe they just did that.
And
So
Jared
she
was
goes, wow.
right in front of it. And I saw him there and I said, I can't wait to see those pictures.
Oh, absolutely. And so he ended up sending about 7 or 8. Jared, not with us this morning, of course. Unfortunately, he is basically has spending hundreds of dollars on his wife's brakes.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm not really. I don't envy him. Okay, I don't envy him one bit. I know the brake work can be expensive, and I haven't, fortunately, knock on wood, haven't had it done on my current cars yet, but down the road, unfortunately, it's true. But yeah, uh, Jared got a great picture of that one. Was right there, and what did he send you 7 or 8 shots? He sent us in on a group text.
Mm.
He sent us at
Yeah.
least 7 or 8 pictures of that thing. So he was right there to get it. The pass coming in, basically Lizzie Sexton tried the shot. It was blocked by
Okay.
their goalkeeper, Emily Breedick, and then bounced right back at him. Kylie said, "Oh, look what I found! I'm gonna take this rebound, and I think I'm gonna put it in the goal. You all mind? Here we go, boom! I
She
made
had
it
to
two
go
to nothing.
through two goals basically. She had the goalkeeper's legs. She had to get it through those posts and then through the other posts. She should be rewarded with two goals.
Yeah, I think it should be like swimming. You should get rated on performance. They just said they could have stopped the action and said, after review, her goal was worth two. Two. I certainly a 2-0 lead at halftime, and it was good to have Miami runs a system which we haven't seen in Louisville. I don't think ever. Maybe we have, but if it had been so, I don't remember it certainly. Where the goalkeepers for Miami switch out at halftime.
I
Uh,
mean, she had a lot of work to do. She needed a break.
well, she was busy, that's for sure. But they certainly, it's their system. They like it. And give the goalkeeper for Miami in the second half credit. Was able to actually keep the Cards at bay. Louisville was not able to score on her, but they weren't able to score on us the whole game. So you got to love that. So with the win, puts the Cards now 10-2, Daryl. But coming up, actually, uh, down the road, this one will be on the actually, this is going to take us all the way into, if I'm not mistaken here, we're going to be playing on the 3rd of October, right?
Yes, next.
Against Notre Dame at Notre Dame.
You got it. Yep, next Friday.
It's going to seem kind of a weird to have a soccer game, no soccer game on Sunday, but that is the situation as it stands. It'll be the 3rd. The Cards go to Notre Dame, and for what I've just been able to see and some of the things that I've looked at, Notre Dame has got a very good soccer team, Daryl.
Yeah, their program overall is always pretty good at kind of everything they do. That's the territory that Notre Dame and the Fighting Irish have. That's their brand, is to get some of the best and put some of the best products out there. So at this point in the season, there are no easy opponents, and Notre Dame typically is kind of like a rival for the Cards. We don't really like each other, and we get great satisfaction when we beat the other.
And if you kind of take a look at the Division 1 women's soccer rankings, which they come out with, of course, now that the season's in full swing every week or so, you take a look at those, and Louisville is, I mean, excuse me, Notre Dame is actually number 2 in those rankings. So uh, a nice little kind of treat, I think, from the United Soccer coaches who have decided that there are the top 3 schools in D1 soccer are all
Hey,
from the ACEN. They are 8-0-1, which they do have a tie. And then Notre Dame was previously 6th, now 2nd. They're 7-0-1. And then Stanford,
looking at
very good school, that a newcomer to the ACC, and it kind of weird to say, well, this is West Coast schools in the Atlantic Coast Conference. I still have trouble with that, but they are, and a good team too, and a 7-1-1 on the season, and so certainly with that, and Florida State in the number 6 position. I think the ACC is well represented in women's soccer. Or you could say so, with Duke being number 9, and then TCU being number 10. So
and North Carolina, which is the
pretty tough conference for the Cards. And
yeah,
if you look at the
Fighting Irish coming off 2.
rankings in the top 25, Louisville, I guess, would be ranked 27th, since they're actually getting votes. In North Carolina, yeah, 22. A lot of what there,
Hey, Paul, can you hear me, Paul? I'm just making sure because you're cutting out a bunch for me.
and I'm more. But
Okay.
while you're
So can you
undergoing
hear me
your own
now?
technical difficulties, I'll just go ahead and continue with North Carolina. They get back on. Notre Dame folks must be obviously jamming our transmission here, not wanting us to talk about them. But one of those things you deal with a live broadcast, and Case set it up for us, but it's not here to provide any technical help. So uh, we will continue to move on.
Just
One,
making sure you can hear me, Paul. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me okay?
You're kind of cutting out on my end. So I'm trying to fill in the blanks a little bit. And I stay in things a little bit here and there, so I'm not sure if you're able to hear me sometimes. So while you can hear me, I think just looking at the Irish's schedule, them coming off the 2 wins versus the North Carolina rivals. And then they have another match on Sunday before they see the Cards. So, that's a little bit of an advantage for U of L, getting some fresh legs after a week off. even more than a week actually. Thursday to the following Friday. That's going to give them a little bit of an advantage, even though they're playing at Notre Dame, which I'm sure will not be an easy atmosphere. Looks like they have their own little promotions going on for when the Cards visit. So as long as the Cards can keep a cool head, get a few goals, and then just keep their defense up, I think they have a good shot. And then a win against Notre Dame would be huge.
Yeah, certainly if you can knock off Notre Dame, and especially knock them off at Notre Dame, that's a that's a very good feat right there.
The morale of that would just kind of catapult them into the final few matches. I know it's not an easy task, those remaining matches. So yeah, like I mentioned at first, that it's always great to beat Notre Dame. Kind of like an ACC. Oh, I take that back. Since Notre Dame doesn't want to claim a conference entirely, I won't give them credit for being it. But our little rivalry, unspoken rivalry, it's always great to beat the Irish.
Certainly so. And I just as an aside here, we were kind of flipping around on the TV. I think it was a couple nights ago, and ran across Rudy.
Nice.
Yeah, which of course is a 2 hour long commercial for Notre Dame. But other than that, it's a nice movie, to kind of see, the triumph and the battle. But I wonder, do they still have those funny marching guys up there? I just wonder about that. And what's their purpose? Or if they're going to fight somebody like that, they're going to get their butts kicked. you
I
know?
wouldn't know.
Yeah, and I'm certainly not going to fight them. But anyway, uh, yeah.
Just
So
another note about their schedule. I mean, they've played at home one, two, three, four, five of their last six matches are at home. So they have their little um, series there where they have the advantage, like the Cards did in their first six games, and they're right in the middle of theirs.
yeah, certainly Notre Dame has got a nice little situation set up for them, enjoying home cooking there for. They've probably got 6 games left like we do, and so yeah, sets up nice for the Irish, doesn't it? In any event, the Cards will go up there, and I know with this team this year, and I'm not sure whether it was, and I haven't had a chance to talk to Karen Ferguson days about this, and I'm going to try and get by there and do an interview if I can, but. This team is, it's a veteran team that basically didn't do a lot last year, but a lot of the same elements return that were on that team. And so, with the year's experience, and certainly the job that Aaron Floyd's done a goal, oh my gosh,
Mm-hmm.
she's been incredible, Daryl. When you take a look at, just the way she's been handling goalkeeper. Okay, early in the season, she gave up a couple goals to Vandy. Uh, she also gave up a couple goals against Wright State, but that was a 7-2 blowout. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'm not even sure she was still in the game at the time, but I guess I can go back and look. But and then you take a look at that, and that was back on August 24th. And they played one, two, three, four games after that, and did not allow a goal to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then, unfortunately, on 9/11, FSU they went to FSU, and FSU scored 2 on them, and actually shut the Cards out for only the second time that year. Vandy being the other team.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, Louisville is not lost. So Karen Ferguson days has got some good things going on there, and I certainly wish her the best of luck the rest of the way out. I think that this team, it's got a lot of heart, and you can tell that in them out there. So we'll be watching closely, and of course, bringing you their action at Cardinal Couple with the website. Just click in daily to see what's going on with them. So that being wrapped up on the kicking cards, as we like to call them. Let's see what else has been going on. The volleyball squad, of course, under Dan Meske now, started their ACC opener by uh, going up against Boston College. They brought Boston College into the LNFCU, as I like to call it. And has that changed any, or is that still the LNFCU?
I don't know. I put the other acronym in there the other day for the article. I don't know what the heck to call it. There's too many L and N's.
Yeah, yeah, it's the LNN on campus. Yeah,
At what point do we stop taking these people's money and say, you know what, this is just getting confusing?
well, I've been a proponent for the last couple months. We renamed the arena the Anna De Beer Arena
And where
this
did
year.
that go? In the suggestion box, and then it still lives there?
Well, it's gathering dust now, and there's a couple gum wrappers on top of it, and somebody's used Kleenex. But yeah,
If I was gonna,
yeah. In my opinion, maybe.
I'd go with Katie George Arena, the
Well,
KG.
Katie would like that, and certainly, I'm sure would come in and even do the broadcast. Maybe if we named the arena after her, you think?
Oh yeah, it would be a whole special on ESPN. I think we're onto something. This is our own commercial. We need to get on this.
I think we may be. Let's see. Who do we get in touch with? The ACC network. Who could we talk to there?
Maybe start
Your
with
old
Dan.
buddy Bobby Blankenship. Your
Maybe we
old
start
buddy
with
Bobby
Dan.
Blankenship. Maybe. Dan. Oh, yeah. Dan would talk to us. I've
Yeah.
got no doubt about that. And Dan will talk your ear off too if you ever talk to him. So
So
we'll
yeah,
see. I mean,
about the match last night, Paul. Like, I don't know about you, but Boston College just should have stayed home.
well, BC wasn't. Let's say they're not Louisville caliber yet. Of course, it's tough to go on the road always and play, but the Cards kind of said, "Thanks for coming. Here's some parting gifts. We'll see you later. We're going to go 3 sets if that's okay with you."
Yeah, we got
And
plans tonight, and we need to go home and get ready.
some friends coming over. I got to pick up some cocktails, some food. So we're going to play you 3 games, and you get on a plane and go home. Bye bye, and thanks for coming in. We'll see you next year.
Yeah, I think the Cards just completely outsized Boston College. I mean, this is a squad that had just recently lost a 5-setter to Bryant and hadn't played much competition heading into this one. I think it was their first ACC match, and you could just see the different caliber of talent. It looked like a practice session for the Cards. It really did.
Yeah, we're just kind of. When you take a look at some of the line stats on this one, Louisville shot 422 for the evening,
Exactly.
and Boston College just .040.
Yeah, it felt like that.
That's
Not a lot of points and attacking and kills for Boston College. So it kind of when they did score a point, the Cards, you know how they sometimes will challenge and uh, argue. It was kind of like, just let them have one. We'll let them have.
Yeah, do you all need like a point here? Sure, why not? We're up by 10. Have a point. Enjoy it.
Yeah,
Celebrate it.
we'll just let this one drop for you.
That one,
Um,
of course.
but
Yeah, a
it was
nice
just
win for the Cards.
the endurance and the was not the same. You know, sometimes you'd see Blackshear with the kill and it was like no Boston College player would even move like to attempt to get under it. It was like taking candy from a baby. It really was the whole time I was watching it.
She's certainly when you can combine her with the CC girls, which is what I like to call
I
Louisville's
like that.
players. Chloe Chacon and of course Kara Cressy.
Yeah.
Uh, they are some bangers in there, and they certainly do their share as far as kills go. Certainly their share of blocks. Uh, I just kind of wonder about this team going down the road here, as they've only had 2 losses, which
Mm-hmm.
is pretty amazing. Losing to Texas, no disgrace there. Texas has been ranked number 1 for a lot of the season,
A
and of
little
course,
disgrace, Paul. A little disgrace because they had the Cards had that one.
oh yeah,
They
they
had
did.
that
It seemed like
one, and let it slip. So a little bit of left a bad taste in my mouth. I hope it leaves a bad taste in the team's mouth.
Yeah, playing them down in Fort Worth, and then
Had it won.
and the Kentucky match too, or you know,
Also, one
that,
where they were up 2-1 and just let it slip. Like the last two sets of that, they just completely ran out of gas.
having Kentucky actually come in and beat us inside the KFC Center. It's not.
No, not cool. At least it wasn't on ESPN.
Yeah, it's one of those things where uh, our rivalry against Kentucky is so good in so many sports, and uh, all we need them to do is get up a field hockey team so we can whip them about 8 or 9 years in a row. But unfortunately, I lost there, but they then bounced back, shut out the other in-state rival in WKU,
Mm-hmm.
blank them, as you like to say, with a 3-0 set win. But yeah, kind of looking back at this one a little bit in playing BC. BC, about the only thing they can do is occasionally block a shot, but
Mm-hmm.
other than that, not a great squad. But when you take a look at this Louisville team, what do you think down the road here, Daryl? I mean, let's take a look at it and kind of understand what's left for them there. There's a lot of volleyball left to play. If you take a look at that so far, I mean, it's a great start, but and I don't even have time to count these, but it looks like we
A
just
handful.
started. Yeah, we just started the ACC season.
Yeah, you got more than 10 matches left.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. Yeah, just to kind of give the Cards credit on what they've been doing.
I
This
think, go ahead.
no, please go ahead.
I think that the matches that stand out for very mature and um, loyal Louisville fans are that pit match. There's two of them. One is at L&N, which surprisingly, you'd think that one would be at the Yum Center, which I think it was in previous years, but nope, not this year. I'm going to be over at L&N, which they're going to show it on ESPN. That's a Sunday match, so that one is obviously one that stands out. And then the two back-to-back Notre Dame games is kind of wild. Second one being a Saturday match for the Cards down at the Yum Center. So that one's interesting. They'll head up to South Bend on Wednesday, which is also not typical, and then Saturday, and turn right back around and play Notre Dame again on Saturday at the Yum Center. So just kind of changing the environments. And I wonder if the Cards and the Irish are going to share a bus on the way back from the first match. Hopefully not. So yeah, that's the big ones that stand out to me. You got the back-to-back Duke North Carolina trip, a Friday and a Sunday match, so they'll stay in North Carolina. So those are the matches that stand out to me for the Cards. None of these are going to be easy. Obviously, the Cards take one match at a time, as they should. Don't treat anyone different than the other ones. You know, every volley matters. Every play matters. We just win the next point. I'm sure that's what the mentality is win that next point, because I don't want the Cards looking at Syracuse, which is the next one, and then Cal and Stanford and Virginia Tech and Virginia and SMU and going, oh, that'll be easy. Because, I mean, there's room for anybody to take steal a win on any night. So just every one match at a time, one volley at a time, and keep stacking up those wins. The quicker you can win a match, in the least amount of sets, the better. So the Cards sweeping in the last two obviously bodes well for them to have fresh legs and be at full strength on Sunday.
Indeed, and I think also you've got to be just smiling from ear to ear on
Oh my
Peyton
gosh.
Peterson, who has just come on and said, hey, "Hello, you've got the CCs over there. I'm the PP, so
Paul, you
look
did
out for
not
me."
just call her
And
that. That's terrible. Don't ever call that to her face.
okay, Pay Pit. How about
Pay
that?
pay.
How does
Got it.
that
I
sound?
got it. I get it.
We'll just call her Pay Pit.
I like
141 kills on the season for her, leading the Cards in those. Certainly a player that when you take a look at basically her coming here and her getting here and joining this Louisville team. I mean, an outside hitter, obviously, but it wasn't really un- until last year when she played a lot of matches, but I'll never forget when Anna DeBeer went down with the injury. It was Peyton that came out
Yeah.
and replaced her.
Had to fill those
And
very large shoes.
but I think she's kind of stepped up, and she's an outside hitter. Uh, I don't think she's quite 6 foot yet, maybe 5'10". I don't think she's going to grow anymore. But oh, and she comes from Dike, Iowa, by the way, where she played for for Dike High School. Uh, a player I think that kind of stepped in when the Cards really needed somebody to say, okay, we've lost some good ones here. Who's going to step up? Peyton said, hey, I'm that girl. Let me do this, coach. I've got this. And also, let's talk about this a little bit too, Daryl. Dan Meskey, floor coach for so many years, now the head coach. Has the transition been smooth for him? I'd like to think it has been.
It's like you just said. Peyton had to come in and fill some very large shoes, so she got some super important minutes in front of or against some of the best competition out there. So it was Pittsburgh and Penn State that she had to deal with last year, and now you can see the effects of just having getting thrown into the fire like that because she has a fire that is unavoidable. Every time I look at a Louisville volleyball roster, and you pick out your star players, but it's like you can't ignore anyone on this roster. And this is the same um, formula that head coach Danny Busman Kelly was using. And it's just kind of flowed over into the Dan Meskey era. And while I was watching last night, I was just thinking the same thing that, you can't ignore any player on the floor. If you pay attention to Kara Cressy, well, guess what? Now you have to focus on this player. Or if you pay attention to them, then then this other one's gonna go off. It's it's a good problem to have such star power on any given night, when somebody is being not having the best night or being double teamed or what have you, that someone else can step up. And it's just the transition from Danny to Dan. It's just like we've been saying over and over that Danny just she taught Dan um this formula. Like, this is not something new to him. And lucky for us that we got Danny when we did, and she turned this program into something that we can all be so proud of, and then left it in a position to be successful. And I couldn't be more grateful for her, and then also Dan as well, to be able to pick up the pieces and just keep it moving forward, because I don't feel like the Cards have really missed a step. Yeah, we lost to Kentucky, but if I like I said an article after that I feel like the Cards will probably meet them again, and they're not going to lose to that team twice. If you want to take the regular season, that's fine. The NCAA will find a way to put those two teams up against each other again, and I like the Cards' chances. And that's just the good problem you have if you're a Louisville volleyball fan.
It certainly is indeed, and one of the areas that I look at, especially when you have the success like Louisville has had with the new coach and all. Uh, let's just take a look at Pay Pete. Okay, she comes out of a volleyball family. Her mom, Bobby, is the head volleyball coach at Iowa. UNI, as I like to call it. Volleyball is the head football coach for UNI. If you listen to that wrong, what are we doing playing volleyball, Daryl? No, but anyway, UNI is a strong program. And her sister, her twin sister, I might add, Jaden, plays volleyball at UNI with her mom. So, maybe down the road, who knows? Maybe we get mom and
I might have lost you, Paul. Can you hear me? Um,
Can you hear me okay?
now I got you. You cut out. You said her mom. Maybe
Oh,
down the road we can get her mom.
yeah. We get her mom and then her daughter to come play for us. You know, you and I is a strong program, but her mom could be an assistant coach here. And twin sister, you got to wonder is Jaden, you know, is she as good as her sister? I mean, they're twins. It's just hard to say sometimes, isn't it? But
It seems like there's some loyalty there to the Iowa area, which was what I was going to say about the Louisville volleyball scene. Just we come from we're currently in a volleyball hot spot, like just between the high school level, the summer leagues, and rec league volleyball. The scene around this state in the volleyball world is just very prominent nationally. Um, and I think that, the ability to recruit some of the best talent all over the country is that brand. This brand that's been built between Danny and Dan. And I know it was a team effort. It wasn't all Danny. We talked about it before that we felt like a lot of the times that Coach Dan was the one out there in the huddles, and he was the one facilitating a lot of the intense moments, the intense coaching that was needed at certain times. He was the one out there coaching the squad. So just the transition of the coaching staff and not having to overhaul the entire coaching staff, like what happens mostly when you switch head coaches, that typically happens. They overhaul the entire staff, and that didn't happen here. So it made it a very smooth transition for current players and for the new coaching staff. So it's just very appreciative to be in this situation.
and certainly so. And then speaking of Danny, she went out to Nebraska, and all they are right now is number one in the nation,
I wonder why.
10-0. And yeah, what do you think caused that? It couldn't have been Danny, right? Yeah, she's obviously gone out there and just kept that program at the high elite level that it's been at for such a long time, Daryl.
Oh yeah, I was
Uh,
gonna say that's exactly why she went there. Volleyball or Nebraska volleyball is no joke, taken very seriously by everyone involved. That's why she played there, she won there, and she's part of the reason that it is what it is today because of her experience when she was a player.
and so certainly a program not to be messed with. Texas, another program, is 8-0, undefeated, and
They should have one
you
loss.
know they should be, yeah, basically 7-1. I agree with you, but unfortunately the Cards just didn't quite finish that one with the most points. One of those sad things. But just taking a look here at the top six here, I'll include us. You got Nebraska and Texas 1 and 2, Kentucky number 3 right now, and that's with two
Yep,
losses, and
that's
jumped
after
up
they beat
from,
us, so they
yeah,
should be happy.
jumped up from number 6 to number 3, tied with Stanford, a school that we're quite familiar with there out there in Palo Alto. They're 9-2, and we're fourth, moved up to third. Pittsburgh, another program we certainly know quite well in volleyball, 8-2. We're 7-2, and then maybe Wisconsin is kind of sitting back there going, "Hey, has anybody noticed us? We're like
Not
seven
really.
and one. We're seven
They
and
can be
one, and
sneaky.
yeah, we're ranked seventh, and gosh, we're doing better than the top four teams above us. But we're seventh. Uh, hello, waving their hand. Hello, we're here.
It,
So it's,
that top six, Paul, I'm so familiar with.
and it seems like we've
About
been seeing
Nebraska.
them
We know their
play.
head coach. We played Texas a few times.
Yeah,
I've watched
it's
them a
just
few
one of
times
those
that
deals.
wasn't against us. So I definitely tune in for some Nebraska. Kentucky's happy that they switched us spots because that they were down there where we were or where we are now in that sixth spot. And then Pittsburgh, obviously, we're very, very familiar with as well. Stanford, again, one of those programs that just always finds a way to be pretty good at most of their programs.
Basically, you can look at this whole top 10, Daryl,
Mm-hmm.
and any one of those top 10 are perfectly capable of playing in the national championship game later this year.
Mm-hmm.
All very, very good teams. And then just, you ask, well, just how strong is ACC volleyball this year? Well, let's take a look who's in the top 25. You've got Miami at 24 and North Carolina at 25. So they kind of snuck in there, but they're certainly in the top 25 and very, very strong programs that certainly the Cards aren't going to be able to just kind of sneeze that and say, okay, you're fine. Bye bye. We'll talk to you later. Uh, and then, of course, obviously, you take go up a little bit further up the rail, uh, go all the way up to Pittsburgh at 5, and then Stanford tied for third. So a strong conference, and
Yeah.
certainly a conference that the Cards are going to, I think, have their hands full with maybe, but we'll continue to monitor them, see what they do, how they do, and how well they do with things. Of course, Syracuse coming up next. They'll be coming into town, and then the Cards will actually no, I'm not. I'm wrong on that. We've yeah, no, Syracuse is next. I'm right.
Yeah.
I got ahead of myself there, and then a trip out to the West Coast for Dan and the boys, as girls, as they go out to face California and Stanford in their West Coast swing, and I'm glad that they're going out there and basically getting the West Coast out of the way for a while.
Yeah.
It's
Just
good that they've got
it's
both
surely
games in a row out
exhausting.
there.
Surely
Yeah,
exhausting to do this trip for an athlete and a student and trying to travel across the country to essentially unless we have a player from that area, probably not going to be a lot of fans there for the Cards. So just it'd be nice to come back with at least one win in that series. Um, being on the road and having two matches in a row, because that first one, the California game, is a 10 p.m. start, uh, California time, next Friday. So that's not a lot of time for the Cards to get their bodies adjusted to the time change. And then they got to turn around on Sunday, play at 5 p.m., and then they're going to travel back to Louisville and lose a bunch of hours. So it's just a lot going on. I'll never understand Atlantic Coast Conference and California teams.
well, obviously the demise of the Pac-12 forced a lot of these schools just to kind of say, "Hey, we're without a conference now. We got our hand up. Pick us." Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and the ACC, I think, although they avowed that they would never add any other schools, jumped very quickly when they had a chance to pick up, of course,
Yeah.
California and Stanford, and then also, you bring in a Texas school. Well, why not? What's the ACC matter when you're on the Gulf of Mexico? So interesting stuff for the Cards, but you just got to kind of hope that they can hang in there and continue to play well. But certainly, boy, these next several matches here, look at it's going to get deep. It's going to be tough, and especially that West Coast swing. Wow, if we can get out of there with 2 wins, I'll be very, very happy and very, very impressed with this team.
Oh yeah. So like we said earlier, the least amount of sets, the better.
Yeah, you want to see if you can make these a sweep 3-0. Certainly, the Cards have got the blocking. They certainly got the power to do so. They certainly got the kill instinct. But it's funny how the ball bounces sometimes. We'll see. And then also let's spend just a little bit of time, if we can, here on field hockey. Field hockey, of course, under Justine Sauer, he's been the coach there for so many years, and uh, you know uh, they, they hit on that. It was their turn to go to the West Coast. They're out there getting ready. They went out there and played a very good Stanford program, and
Mm-hmm.
as it turned out, Stanford was able to basically take them to a overtime. The overtime led to another overtime, and then in field hockey, they have that dreaded shootout, as you like.
Yeah, I groaned.
Yeah, I mean, and unlike volleyball, you don't go out there and play both the West Coast schools at the same time. We just played Stanford, and then you got to wait a month, and then California comes in here. So,
Hmm.
not quite sure about the scheduling there, but anyway, next year it'll be reverse. Stanford will come in here, and then we'll go out to play California, and it'll probably be a month apart. So, field hockey, not at all worried about the travel aspects here on things, I don't think. But tough loss for the Cards in the shootout, where it came down basically to the fact that when they do that, and if you've got any uh, questions or doubts or anything about exactly what is a shootout, basically if you've played 4 quarters and then 2 overtime quarters and the contest is still tied, then you go to a shootout. And that's where you take your 5 players off your team, you put them up against another team's goalie, and they go after that goalie one by one and try to score on a goalie. What's your thoughts on this, Daryl? I mean, we don't see a shootout in any other sport.
We used to.
Used to, but not anymore.
It's just one of those situations where it's, when it doesn't go your way, you just groan because it's so close. Like, the anxiety you must feel as the goalkeep to prevent them from going in, and then you feel like you have the upper hand as the shooter. Sometimes I've never actually personally done either, but the way I look at it, um, it's just like one of those things that once you lose, when you're on the losing side of a shootout, it just feels um, incomplete. It feels like, ugh, I don't know, like like we shouldn't have gotten ourselves in this situation to begin with, I guess. So there's regret there, and then when you lose on something so um, I don't want to say personal, but when it's a one-on-one situation and you can't even do anything, like say you're one of the defenders in the back having to watch this, it's just kind of you throw your hands up and you're just like, whatever. Um, just kind of just I just groan over shootouts.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Cards, not the best of luck in this shootout. Although they did basically we're tied 1-1 after the first player shot. Gracie Potter was able to connect for the Cards, and every time I see or hear Gracie Potter, I think of the singer Grace Potter, but obviously not related. Grace Potter is not playing field hockey in Louisville. It's Gracie Potter, okay? Just in case somebody do the halftime show in addition to play. But no, it's not Grace Potter. It's Gracie Potter. She scored our first goal, but Stanford scored their first 2 goals, and then unfortunately we sent forward to the circle to try and score. None of the 4 could score, and that's just the way it goes. A tough way, as mentioned, to start the conference season, I think.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you if you asked me a question.
Yeah, I have the. Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So let's you start the conference season with a loss. What does that do to a team, Daryl?
It again, I just think it's kind of a weird situation with the Stanford being new. I don't think this one's going to sting that much, if that makes sense. Just cuz it's not like I don't know, it's totally out of their comfort zone. Like I said, you're heading all the way out west. You kind of give yourself a little grace. I think the team will give themselves a little grace. Yeah, they're ranked right now and they're looking good. But this should be hopefully a little fire, start a fire under them to get them um, to back on the winning side.
We gotta hope that it will. Uh, just and Justine Sauer's always got, I think, the kind of players that don't give up. She's always had such a good bunch of players. Although we we don't have as strong as a foreign presence as we used to on the team. Justine, a very, very, very good coach, obviously, and she'll bring things back around. I have no doubt about it. She'll get things going again, and for the Cards, like we mentioned a little bit earlier, it's tough to travel all the way out there and then just play one game instead of two, and
Mm-hmm.
then lose, and then the thing is you're off until October the 3rd now.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of time to rest up, basically, Daryl, from the trip, and then where you get to play two at home, Wake Forest, and then of course Bellarmine. And it kind of surprises me that we stuck Bellarmine in the middle of this APC schedule this year. I'm scratching my head on that one too.
Yeah, especially after we already played a scrimmage against them. It's kind of, I don't know. Eh, maybe it's just it'll benefit both squads. You're seeing a familiar squad. You're seeing a friendly foe. This is not um a high or like a lot of hatred and a rivalry. It's kind of like a brotherly or a sisterly rivalry where you're just trying to get better. So I'm thinking maybe both squads were in conversation with how they could both each use an extra game on the schedule, and hey, why not let's play each other. We're in the same city. We're right down the street from each other. It's not going to disrupt these students, and it'll count for something this time. We've seen each other already. Let's take what we learned in that match. Let's take what we've learned in the last few weeks of facing different foes and see what the outcome could be.
And with that Bellarmine game, that's actually going to be a tough stretch for the Cards, where they're going to play a total of 4 games in 10 days. Uh, Luckily, the first two are at home when they play Wake Forest and then Bellarmine,
Mm-hmm.
and then but then they go to Duke and UCLA, and those are at those two different locations. At least it's not a far trip for the Cards. It's in North Carolina. Duke and North Carolina, I think, are what maybe uh, as far as driving time goes, a half an hour apart, and there's a 2 day uh, gap between those two games at Duke and at North Carolina. So I don't know if the Cards are going to just stay over and practice at a high school or something like that. I wouldn't think that they would bring the field hockey all the way back home just to send them back
No, there's no
two
way that
days later.
feasibly, absolutely not. There's no way they're doing that. They're
Yeah,
gonna
I would
they're
think
gonna let
for
them go to the next hotel, go do your homework. We're gonna get a practice in, and then it's game day.
and so it's hardly down at Chapel Hill, which is actually a very nice campus and a very fun college town too. I can tell you, we were fortunate enough to go down there for a football game a few years back at North Carolina, and then after the game went out and tried the nightlife in Chapel Hill, and wow, woo! There was a bunch of happy campers getting back on that bus. Let me tell you. So,
From what you could remember.
for, I basically, yeah, I can remember being backed in a corner by a bunch of people in blue, arguing with me about who had the better men's basketball program,
Or
and
whose blue was better.
yeah, there, like I kind of said, we had Denny Crum, and they said we had Dean Smith, and I'm like, Denny was better than Dean. I needed backup, and unfortunately, I had none. So I basically said,
Yeah, you gotta be careful, Paul. You're in enemy territory.
You boys are a member of our conference, and I'm proud of you." And they said, "No, you joined our conference." And I'm like, "Okay, well, let's beat Duke, shall we?" And then they could agree on that.
Yeah, so
One of them things.
I think this little that what you mentioned, Paul, that little 4 matches in 10 days, that is probably calculated by the program to get them ready for postseason. It's not going to be easy. You got to have these regular season trials to get you ready for a postseason, because one loss and you're out. This is the time to be learning those situations and getting better.
Yeah, I got to agree with you on that. And then, of course, after the UNC game, you've only got 4 games left before the ACC tournament.
Yep.
So,
It's coming to a close, Paul. I don't understand how. Time is just flying by.
It just seems to fly by so fast. It really
Yep.
does. But, we got a little bit of time left here. Just kind of want to take a real quick look at women's basketball. Jeff Walls, of course, will be announcing. They'll be announcing soon when they're going to have the actual tip-off luncheon. But just looking at the team this year, Daryl, there's a boy. This roster doesn't look anything like it did last year. You know.
And that's how it goes sometimes. When we live in this transfer portal world, we get to glimpses of players for a single season before they're up and gone and moving on to the next thing. And I can't imagine being a coach and trying to navigate all of that. And our one consistency with women's basketball is Coach Walls, and I couldn't be more appreciative of that. I trust. I in Walls, we trust that he will bring the team together where they need to be. Do I have a favorite player right now? I don't. Paul, this is wild. I'm gonna go with Taj Roberts as being my favorite player to watch right now, just because there's so little of everyone else to work off of. I guess Elif's a good one. She's finally growing into her role and going to take on a leadership role. So I'm very interested to see all the things that she has learned playing for her national team and for Coach Walls for a few years now. So let's go with Elif, actually. I want to see her get, because we need size. That's the biggest thing that the women's basketball program has lacked when it comes to getting further into the postseason, is we just get outsized the further we go. And I'm waiting for that player that is going to change this program and start bringing these huge bodies into the front court for the Cards.
And I'm hoping to see a real big season at Alice Jefferson. An Aussie came to us, 6'4", so she's certainly got the height to be a very powerful forward, and they've kind of interchanged her in the Wall system. I don't know if there is a true center sometimes or not out there, but Isla certainly a ball player that had a very good freshman year for us. I think she played in 24 games. You know, basically Walls brought her along a little bit. Only played her about 7 minutes a game, but she showed me the potential that she could really be something for us down the road. And I'm kind of basing the way, and everybody goes through those freshman years. You have to go through them, but we got an Aussie on campus now. Let's hope that she can bring us some luck from down under.
I like it. Go Cards.
So we'll see what happens with her. But hey, we're sneaking up here already, Daryl, on the noon hour. So we've had a lot of fun with this broadcast, and of course, if anybody wants to tune in on it today, the Cards are playing football today, aren't they? Golly.
Yep, noon o'clock.
True?
Yep, coming up right now.
Hopefully everybody will enjoy that. And what's the broadcast on that?
Network Extra, I want to say. I don't think we're on.
Is it okay? I wasn't really sure on how that was going to run, but certainly let's wish them the best of luck, and then we'll go ahead and segue on into final thoughts. What you got for me, Daryl?
Actually, it's ESPN2 for the football game.
Oh, nice.
Final thoughts. If everyone, not to be too, what's the word? I'm trying to think of the word. Secretive. Not to be too secretive. If everyone could throw some good thoughts my way, I did throw out a resume and a job position that I would really, 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 really like at U of L. And it's perfect for me. So I'm hoping to get a call for that and at least interview. So fingers crossed on that front.
So everybody cross your fingers for Daryl and don't step on any cracks because you might break your mother's back.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying not to jinx it. I don't like talking about things until they're on paper.
Don't let Lulu adopt a black cat, anything like that. So we wish you the best of luck, certainly, in those endeavors, Daryl. and hopefully that you get what you applied for and where you hope to be. So best of luck there to you, and let's hope that if I can be of any help in any way, certainly let me know. And
Thanks, Paul.
as far as myself on final thoughts, I just kind of I was talking with somebody who I hadn't talked to in a while and kind of discussing everything that I'm going through right now with the CKD and trying to get some things rolling and uh, I'm hoping that things continue to go well with the kidney treatments and stuff like that. But I was talking. He says, "You know how lucky you are just to be able to still do things and write and be able to do what you do." And I'm like, I guess I take it for granted.
You do
But
sound great, Paul. I will say that. You sound great.
I appreciate that. And I guess I decided back when this first onset me and stuff like that. I said, well, it's basically something I got to tackle a day at a time. And I won yesterday. I'm going to try to win today, and we'll see what happens each day. And this my old rockin' Brady Pat Travers used to say, "I'm not going to give out the fight until the spotlight goes down." And as long as the light's shining on me, I want to keep going. So, uh, but hey, we want to thank everybody for listening to the podcast today. Certainly, Case will be putting this thing up a little bit after we're done with it. we'll, we hope maybe to get him back and hopefully Jared back next week as well. So we'll see what happens with that, and we'll also see what happens as far as the rest of the Cardinals season go. And as we like to end each broadcast, a special thank you to Daryl for joining me today, and go Cards!
Go Cards.